This morning, we are very honored to have Governor John Waihe'e offer a moment of contemplation.
Aloha. You know, this is the first time I have the privilege of speaking in this chamber. And I can honestly say, Mr. President, I know why it becomes a kind of an enjoyable thing to do. Anyway, I was asked to be here today because 40 years ago, Senator Brian Taniguchi and our class was elected to the legislature. And the only two people from that class left in politics is Senator Taniguchi and Senator Mazie Hirono. He couldn't get Mazie. So here I am. You know, and when he asked me this, I kept thinking to myself, why did we run for office? Why did I run for office? You know, why? It's obviously not for the money. I mean, if anybody out there thinks you're going to get rich by being in office, you seriously need some counseling. So all of us came here because we felt like we had an opportunity to do something for people that lived around us, for the community, for Hawaii. And I can just, you know, feel that. Now, many of you are going to be going out and running for election this coming year. This year, actually, in November, over the course of the summer. And while you're doing that, you're going to meet, maybe some of you will meet a young opponent, and like every time, you know, they'll be over there naively promising the whole world. And then you're going to see some incumbents, and they're sort of tired because they know the system. And I thought today, what I wanted to share with you is one of my favorite Olelo Moeaus, which is a Hawaiian saying. And that is, Umiya Kahanu. Umiya Kahanu was the war cry that the Hawaiian warriors used when they were in a battle. And what it meant was something like hold your breath or, you know, be persistent. Hawaiians have a thing about breath. You know, everything is about breath. But the idea was never give up. You know, and I can remember back when I first ran, and I was running, my district went from Mauna Kea Street through Salt Lake out to Foster Village, everything below the freeway. And I was running against two opponents who were incumbents. You know, and so you would go out and I'd be talking to the people about great issues of Hawaii and all these things. And the only thing they wanted to talk to me about was some traffic lights. Traffic lights, you know? And so and my opponents who were incumbents kept avoiding that issue for some reason. And I thought, you know, why would you do that? That's a no-brainer. Give them the traffic lights. So I pulled this naive little thing when I was standing at one of the community meetings, and I said, I promise you I will get you your traffic lights. And so when I finally was elected to the legislature, and I discovered that there is something called pork. Maybe you guys don't do that anymore, but back then if you were nice to the Senate President or the Speaker of the House and the finance people, they would give you a little bit for your district. So I immediately put the money for the traffic lights, announced it to the district. What a great person I was. And immediately I was informed that the money would not be released. The governor held the money because it was a state project. Later on, when I became lieutenant governor, I went back in and said, now I'm part of the team. Give me my traffic lights, I promised these people, because I would go to the meetings and we would be talking about anything, and you'd always see some guy comes in and he say, but where is the traffic lights for the kids? You know, and you would hear this all the time. I said, come on. And then I was told by Dags, hey, you're part of the team now, you should understand. And then I got to be governor. The day after inauguration, the next morning, people from DAGS, BNF, and DOT were sitting in my office. And I can tell you we weren't talking about big things like rapid transit or anything else. The thing we were discussing, traffic lights. You see? And while I told him, well, you're taking care of these traffic lights, throw in a library that the Senate President wanted at Salt Lake. And there was this new young representative from Salt Lake who was thinking about a regional park. Give her some help too. Well, today, folks, there's a library in Salt Lake. There's a regional park in that district. And if you go up to the crosswalk on the corner of Waikimilo and McNeil Street, they are traffic lights. You see? Umia kahanu, never give up. We all know that the Hawaiian word for thank you is mahalo. But it has so much more meaning than just thanks, dude. You know, incorporated into the mahalo is the idea of respect, of admiration, as well as gratitude. And I wanted to say to you this morning that I respect each and every one of you for the sacrifices you are making to be here today and in this legislature. I wanted to tell each and every one of you how much I admire your commitment to help your neighbors and to make the state of Hawaii better. I wanted to tell you how grateful I am that you have chosen to be a warrior for Hawaii. Mahalo.
Thank you, Governor Waihe'e. He was always fascinating to watch as he would get so energized when he'd get into a crowd of people. And as a former governor, you make your own rules. Our Senate rules say 90 seconds for the contemplation. Senator Taniguchi informed him he had 3 minutes. I go, wait, the rule is 90. But I guess former governors get twice that. And if they get energized, they get anything they want. Thank you. Will the Senate please come to order? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Baker, Senator Chang, Senator Dela Cruz, Senator English, Senator Favela, Senator Gabbard, Senator Harimoto, Senator Ihara, Senator Inoue, Senator Kahele, Senator Kanuha, Senator Keith Agaran, Senator Keoho Kalole, Senator Kidani, Senator Kim, Senator Moriwaki, Senator Nishihara, Senator Rhodes, Senator Riviere, Senator Ruderman, Senator Shimabukuro, Senator Taniguchi, Senator Thielen, Senator Wakai. Mr. President.
Present.
All 25 members are present.
Thank you. The chair has read the journal of the preceding day and approves the same. Are there any introductions this morning? Senator Gabbard.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues and guests, it's happy to announce that it is National Future Farmers of America Week, and in the audience we have today some national and state leaders as well as students, and they are here to discuss proposals to advance the growing agricultural youth movement in Hawaii. So if you'll please stand when I call your name, and please hold your applause. We have Courtney Lehman, the National FFA Secretary, Ben Meyer, the Regional National FFA Specialist, Ken Kajihara, a retired volunteer who coordinated this visit. Also with us is Mike Barros with the state, he is the State FFA Executive Secretary. Bronson Azama, he is the YFFA State President. Harvey Taglikud, who is the Vice President of FFA. Hana Dio Karis, China Chun, Secretary and Treasurer. Waipahu, from Waipahu High School is Hana Apostol. Also from Waipahu is Darren Estal and Marvin Picard. And from Kalani High School, Catherine Lamb, Rainer Tanaka, and also Donald Lee. Please give them a warm welcome. Mahalo.
Thank you. Further introductions? If not, Senator Kahele. Oh, Senator Wakai.
No, I have one more.
Sorry, Mr. President. I wanted to introduce our members to a gentleman that we're going to be contemplating for confirmation in just a few moments. Scott Glenn, he's up for the Chief Energy Officer. He is accompanied today by his wife, Tomomi Glenn, and their friend, Rena. Would the three of them please rise? Tomomi and Rena.
Further introduction, Senator Kahele.
Mahalo, Mr. President. Colleagues, we normally introduce our staff at the end of session, and we see staff walking around all session long, but I wanted to take a moment to introduce one of my staff members in the gallery who yesterday was named the 2019 ILH Boys Division I Soccer Coach of the Year, Yuri Barron-Silva.
If there are no further introductions, Senator Kahele, you still have the floor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, this is a special day here in the Senate. We get a chance to honor a magical team, a team that captured the state of Hawaii last year. Unfortunately, when they played in the national championship game, we had already adjourned last legislative session. So today is an opportunity to honor a very special team and their coaches of the University of Hawaii men's volleyball team. I'm going to start with the AVCA National Assistant Coach of the Year. If he could rise, Mr. Joshua Walker. Colleagues, Josh Walker is the recipient of the 2019 American Volleyball Coaches Association National Assistant Coach of the Year. He is the first University of Hawaii assistant coach to win this award since it debuted in 2010. Josh was a member of the University of Hawaii Rainbow Warriors volleyball team from 2007 to 2011. He was named to the All-Mountain Pacific Sports Federation second team in 2011 and made the All-MPSF third team, as well as a second team as an AVCA All-America in 2010. He finished his four-year career with 1,428 kills and currently ranks fifth in program history. After his time at the University of Hawaii, he spent a volleyball career overseas professionally in Greece, Denmark, Finland, and the UAE. In 2019, as Josh came back in his fourth season as the assistant coach on head coach Charlie Wade's staff, he helped lead the Rainbow Warriors volleyball team to the best record in program history with 28 victories, and they captured the first Big West Conference title. Congratulations, Josh. Welcome to the Senate. Next, could I get the 2019 American Volleyball Coaches Association National Coach of the Year, Coach Charlie Wade, to stand. Colleagues, Charlie Wade is the recipient of the 2019 AVCA National Coach of the Year Award. He began his coaching collegiate career at Cal State Fullerton in 1987 as an associate coach. In 1995, when I was at the UH Men's Volleyball program and team, Coach Charlie Wade arrived as an assistant coach for the University of Hawaii at Rainbow Waihe'e volleyball team for Coach Dave Shoji, who he was the right-hand man for while he was there for an 11-year career. He then went on to spend 3 years as the head coach for the University of Pacific women's volleyball team until he returned in 2010 to be head coach for the Rainbow Warriors men's volleyball team. In the 2019 season, he led the Rainbow Warriors volleyball team to the best record in program history with 28 victories, earning their first Big West Conference title. Additionally, the team set an NCAA record 74-set win streak and finished as the national runner-up. The Rainbow Warriors spent the entire season in the top 5 of the AVCA coaches poll, including 4 weeks in the top spot, and a program high of 5 Rainbow Warriors were selected as AVCA All-Americans, with 4 on the first team. And currently, our University of Hawaii men's volleyball team is ranked #1 in the country. Mahalo nui loa and congratulations. National Coach of the Year, Charlie Wade. Finally, colleagues, we're going to honor the entire 2019 Rainbow Warriors men's volleyball team. So I'd like to stand President David Lassner, the University of Hawaii, of course, Charlie Wade, National Coach of the Year, Josh Walker, Assistant National Coach of the Year, and three players that were part of that team: Patrick Gasman, James Anastassiades, and Rado Paropanov. Make sure I get their names correct. I just would like to point out that Rado Paropanov was the 2019 AVCA All-American First Team. He was an All-Big West Conference First Team, a Brian Ivy Award winner as the nation's best opposite, and he also was part of the Academic All-Conference team. I'd like to point out that Patrick Gasman is the 2019 AVCA All-America Second Team, the 2019 All-Big West Conference First Team, and the 2019 National Blocker of the Year. And he's also a three-time Conference All-Academic player. And finally, James Anastassiades is a four-year senior. He is currently the team captain, and he is a 2019 Big West Conference All-Academic. Colleagues, the 2019 Rainbow Men's Volleyball team is the Big West Conference champion. They are the National Collegiate Athletic Association runner-up and the recipient of the American Volleyball Coaches Association Team Academic Award. This team won the Big West Conference Championship and finished national runner-up to Long Beach State in the national championship game last year. They are skillfully instructed, mentored, and motivated by head coach Charlie Wade and his coaching staff, including Milan Zarkovic, who is in the gallery, Josh Walker, and Chad Gasman. The 2019 Rainbow Warriors men volleyball team capped off a stellar 28-win season and played in a national championship match for only the third time in program history. The team captured the program's first conference title by winning the Big West tournament, and they earned the #1 seed in the NCAA championship for the first time in program history. This team won its first 24 matches of the season in 3 straight sets, setting an NCAA record with a 74-set win streak, which obliterated the previous mark of 32, and also set a new program record with a 25-match win streak, which is the 6th longest in the NCAA history. They were the nation's #1 ranked team for the final 5 weeks of the regular season. They finished as a national leader in 4 team categories: hitting percentage, kills per set, assists per set, and blocks per set. And with a program record AVCA, 4 AVCA first-time All-Americans and 5 All-Big West Conference first-team members. I'm going to say the names of the team for the record. Those team members were seniors, although they are not here today: Brett Rosenmeyer, Dalton Solberg, Stein Van Tilburg, Joe Worsley, who finished with the most victories, 90 of them during a 4-year period in program history, as well as James Anastassiades, Colton Cowell, Patrick Gasman, Cole Hoagland, Philip Homler, Devin Johnson, Rado Paropanov, Max Rosenfeld, Brett Sheward, Jacob Thel, Alakai Todd, Jackson Van Ekeren, Danny Wong, and Gage Worsley. Congratulations to the 2019 AVCA National Runner-Up Champions. Colleagues, I'd also like to recognize here in the gallery the Athletics Director for University of Hawaii, David Matlin. If you could please stand. Associate Athletics Director Lois Mannin, Associate Head Coach Milan Zarkovic, Team Manager Matt Larson, Volunteer Coach Chad Gasman, Athletic Trainer Renee Shigemura, Strength Coach Josh Elms, Media Director of Media Relations Derek Inouchi, and finally Coach Wade's family, his wife Tani, their boys Makana, Kainoa, and Kikoa, and Coach Wade's father-in-law Don Martin. Congratulations, everyone. Welcome to the Hawaii State Senate. And at the appropriate time, Mr. President, can we take a moment of recess to honor our distinguished guests?
So ordered. Do we have any further introductions? If there are no objections from the members, we'll call for a short recess for the purpose of meeting our honored guests. Will the Senate please come back into order? Do we have any late introductions? Senator Kahele.
Thanks, Mr. President. Colleagues, you know, we would not have a thriving University of Hawaii men's volleyball team without the heart and soul of the program, which is its booster club and booster program. So I just want to recognize in the gallery is Alice Matsumoto, Kathy and Basil Sparlin, Kimo and Pua, and Tammy Namihira from the UH Men's Volleyball Boosters Club. Can we mahalo them and give them a round of applause? And Alice Matsumoto. Thank you so much for supporting our team.
Thank you. If there are no further late introductions, Madam Clerk.
On page 2, Governor's Message Number 1 requests expeditious consideration of an emergency appropriation bill.
File.
On pages 2 through 4, Governor's Message Numbers 568 to 588 transmit nominations to various boards and commissions for referral to committee.
Referrals for Governor's message numbers 568 to 588 are made in accordance with the referrals listed on the order of the day.
On page 5, Introduction of Measures, Senate Concurrent Resolution Numbers 38 to 49 and Senate Resolution Numbers 21 to 28 for referral to committee.
So ordered.
On pages 5 and 6, Standing Committee Report Numbers 2900 to 2905. On pages 9 through 16, Standing Committee Report Numbers 2925 to 2964. And on page 23, Standing Committee Report Number 3008 for adoption.
Senator Kahele.
I move for the adoption of said standing committee reports.
Senator Favela.
I second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Any objections? If not, the motion is carried.
On pages 6 and 7, Standing Committee Report Numbers 2906 to 2909. On pages 16 to 18, Standing Committee Report Numbers 2965 to 2975. And on page 23, Standing Committee Report Number 3007 for one-day notice. On pages 7 through 9, Standing Committee Report Numbers 2910 to 2924. And on pages 18 to 23, Standing Committee Report Numbers 2976 to 3006 for 48-hour notice.
So ordered.
On page 23, Advise and Consent.
If there are no objections from the members, we will be taking advise and consent on consent.
Standing Committee Report Number 2897 on Governor's Message Number 509, Scott Glenn, gubernatorial nominee as the Chief Energy Officer for adoption.
Is there any discussion? If not, Senator Ruderman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be voting in support, but with reservations, and if you
Please
don't mind,
proceed.
I'd like to express my reservations.
Please
I believe the nominee is a good person and will succeed, and I applaud his commitment to climate concerns, which I share. But I must vote with reservations because the nominee continues to believe in geothermal as being a key component to Hawaii's energy future. There's two kinds of renewable energy, safe and unsafe kinds. There's one person in this room that's had any experience with living with geothermal in Hawaii, and it's me, and I've had, my community and myself have had 30 years of it. And let me say, in no uncertain terms, that it's been a disaster. And I do think that we need someone, I think we need an energy office that can look at our challenges with clear eyes and not ignore the actual reality on the ground of what we've experienced in Hawaii, and look towards realistic, sustainable solutions to our energy future. We cannot expect geothermal. To expect geothermal to be a part of our energy future here in Hawaii is to engage in a fantasy-type magical thinking. That said, I believe the nominee is a good man with good intentions. I'm glad that he shares my climate concerns, and I look forward to working with him, but I must express those concerns in the strongest possible terms. Thank you.
Thank you. We will note your reservations. Further discussion, Senator Wakai.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise in support of the nominee.
Please proceed.
Members, Scott Glenn is the exact right person we need for this office. This time last year, we were looking at an energy office that was non-collaborative, almost irrelevant to our aspirations for a clean energy future for this state. Jettison to where we are today, it's a dramatic change. You look at it from a staffing morale standpoint, he has turned a demoralized staff into one that is raring to go. On a policy level, he is one of the most collaborative people we have in government. I look back at what he did at OEQC, changing the rules that couldn't be changed for perhaps more than a decade. He was able to accomplish that. And he was able to accomplish that with various opponents actually coming together and applauding him for all that he did. For the first time that I've seen, we've had environmentalists and developers that were actually supportive of the rule changes he made at OEQC. Now in his capacity as the head of our energy office, we're going to need that sense of collaboration because, as the previous senator mentioned, there are some areas in the clean energy aspiration where there is a little bit of controversy, whether it's geothermal, whether it's wind, solar, anything else that might be coming on the horizon. We have one common enemy, that's fossil fuels. And Scott Glenn is the right person who's going to be able to bring all the different opinions together and help us get to our clean energy goals. So although we might have a little bit of angst on certain types of energy, I think this is exactly the right person we need to march us forward to our 100% energy aspirations. I hopefully encourage all of you to vote in favor of his confirmation.
Thank you. Further discussion? Senator Favela,
Thank you. I also rise in support.
please proceed.
Thank you, sir. Of this candidate for our energy. I had a long talk with him, and a lot of you guys know how I feel about windmills and the windmill energy. I know prior to our committee hearings, and I got to speak with him on this thing, and you know, the best part about it is engaging the community and the people that is surrounding the renewable energy, whether it's fossil fuel reduction and getting rid of the coal, and even with PV and even with windmills. The part that I liked about him, that he was willing to say that he's going to get into more engagements, more community output, and more community meetings to make sure that all parties involved with any going forward renewable energy, that he will engage with the communities and make sure that everybody has a clear view on what he's going forward with new renewable energy and the energy that we need in the state of Hawaii. So I thank you for that and having that open mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? If not, do we have Senator De La Cruz?
Thank you. I guess I'll be in support with reservations.
Please proceed.
You know, my concern is that there seems to be a lot of unclear boundaries between the PUC and the Office of Energy. We need to ensure that regulatory functions, studies that are related to regulatory functions and in regulatory nature stick with the PUC. And what we really need the Office of Energy to do is grow our energy economy. I mean, we've been talking about diversifying the economy for years. We've been talking about trying to address the brain drain for years. And it's not enough to just create jobs for rooftop solar installation. That doesn't cut it. What are we going to do to start getting R&D jobs? What are we going to do to really start to get energy becoming a big sector so that we don't just have to rely on tourism, on the military? We have an Office of Energy. It's located in DBED, and we're at the break of having tourism be affected by the coronavirus, and yet we don't have high-paying jobs. What I really do hope that that's going to be the focus of the Office of Energy. We're educating our kids. I mean, we talk about agriculture as an example. I mean, look at our kids from FFA. But what are we doing to really create jobs in agriculture? I mean, it's not enough just to have sustainability goals. We got to create jobs so that our kids can live and work in Hawaii and not be based on a service economy where we're only going to be fighting about minimum wage. We got to create jobs that are going to be able to allow them to afford to live in Hawaii and grow their families. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion? If not, do we have unanimous consent? No vote for Senator English. Reservations, Senator Ruderman, Senator Kim, Senator Kidani, Senator De La Cruz.
24 ayes, 1 no.
Thank you. Scott Glenn has been confirmed as Chief Energy Officer. Senator Wakai, do you introduce all of the family members who are here and our new Energy Director?
Okay, now it's happy time. I want to introduce all of us to our new Energy Chair, Chief Energy Officer, sorry, is his title. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Glenn.
Thank you. If there are no objections from the members, we'll take a short recess. Will the Senate please come back into order? Madam Clerk.
On page 24, third reading.
If there are no objections from the members, we will be taking third reading on consent.
Standing Committee Report number 2893, third reading of Senate Bill 2295, Senate Draft 2, relating to service learning.
Is there any discussion? If not, do we have unanimous consent?
25 ayes.
Thank you. Senate Bill 2295, SD2, passes third reading.
Standing Committee Report number 2894, third reading of Senate Bill 2342, Senate Draft 1, relating to the Kupuna Caregivers Program.
Is there any discussion? If not, do we have unanimous consent?
25 ayes.
Thank you. Senate Bill 2342, SD1, passes third reading.
Third reading of Senate Bill 2101, Senate Draft 1, relating to taxation.
Is there any discussion? If not, do we have unanimous consent? No vote for Senator Favela, no vote for Senator Harimoto, no vote for reservations for Senator Keo'okalole.
23 ayes, 2 noes.
Thank you. Senate Bill 2101, SD1, passes third reading.
Referrals and re-referrals.
Referrals and re-referrals are made in accordance with the order of the day and the supplemental order of the day, which may be distributed to your offices later today.
On page 30, miscellaneous business, waiver of referral of Senate Bill 2582 relating to health.
Senator Rhodes.
I request a waiver of the referral of SB number 2582 to the Committee on Judiciary to facilitate consideration of the bill and to manage the JDC workload.
The waiver is granted. Senator Rhodes.
I move that SB number 2582 SD1 be placed on the calendar for third reading.
Senator Keo'okalole.
Mr. President, I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Any objections? If not, the motion is carried. One-day notice is hereby given for third reading of Senate Bill number 2582 SD1.
No further business, Mr. President.
Are there any announcements today? Senator Dela Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request a waiver of the notice requirement pursuant to Senate Rule 21 in order to hold a hearing on Senate Bill 75 SD1 and a decision-making meeting on SB 2191, SB 2776 SD1, and Senate Bill 3063 SD1. In regards to Senate Bill 75 SD1, we just accepted the governor's message. This bill is to insert language to deal with the emergency appropriation in dealing with the coronavirus. SB 2776 relating to the environment, which directs the Department of Health to require the Clean Water Branch to perform water quality testing during brownwater advisories, inform the public of risks associated with water runoff during brownwater advisories, and establish an Environmental Management Division Oversight Advisory Board. SB 3063 SD1 proposes an amendment to Article 9, Section 5 of the Constitution of the State of Hawaii to require the state to place housing for its residents amongst its highest priorities and implement this provision by statute. And SB 2191 relating to water storage and distribution for agricultural lands, which authorizes the issuance of general obligation bonds for the purposes of funding construction costs of a water storage and distribution system for agricultural lands owned by Office of Hawaiian Affairs.
The waiver is granted. Senator Dela Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Committee on Ways and Means will hold a public hearing on SB 75 SD1 today at 2:15 p.m. in Conference Room 211, and decision-making meeting on SB 2776, 3063, 2191 tomorrow at 10 a.m. in Conference Room 211. The notices were filed with the clerk's office this morning. Thank you.
Just want to double check on the decision making. That will be at 10 a.m., not 11.
It says 11:10 a.m.
11:10 a.m. Okay. Thank you. Are there further announcements? If not, the chair has one. The deadline for filing standing committee reports on Senate bills for second reading is 6 p.m. tonight. Senator Kahele.
I move that the Senate stand adjourned until 11:30 a.m. tomorrow.
Senator Favela.
I second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. If there are no objections from the members, the Senate will stand adjourned until 11:30 a.m. tomorrow.